What's up, guys? Trevor Dixon here. Sorry it's been so long since we posted a video like this. Our first video actually was received well. We want to thank y'all for that. We appreciate the feedback and the likes and the shares and the follows. Last time we had talked about starting your own business, some of the basic tips and tricks of what we did personally, how we were able to get started. Coming out from situations with no savings, full-time jobs, responsibilities, kids, family, etc. So in this video, we want to talk about sort of what we did next. You know, once we had our business going and we had quit our jobs. So first and foremost, you know, we started getting the paper leads and we started actually acquiring some jobs and some new clients. And at that point, that's when I loaded up my truck, my tools, and I went to work and started doing these jobs just by myself. Occasionally my wife would jump in and help if she didn't have to work, and that's what we did for quite a while. We were just doing jobs by ourselves. So once you start getting these jobs, you know, you're new, and in all honesty, you're feeling pretty vulnerable and desperate. I mean, you have to have these jobs, you have to have money and pay bills. So naturally, at least for me, that led to an obsessiveness with pleasing my clients because I really wanted great reviews. I really needed referrals and more jobs, more work. You know, I wanted people to call me back. So I did everything in my power to make sure that my clients were super happy with me. And I was successful at this. You know, people started referring me out. People started hiring me for multiple jobs. And I actually ended up getting really busy really quickly. And this led to kind of a whole situation of different problems that I wasn't really anticipating. First and foremost was I'd work all day, and then in the evening times, sometimes till 11, 12 o'clock at night, I was having to fill out estimates. And I was running and looking at jobs in the evenings to put estimates together and meet with clients. And it was just taking a tremendous amount of time and effort. And this was stressful on both my marriage, my relationship with my son, and me personally. I was just getting exhausted. This is when I decided that I needed some help. And so I actually went out and I sought my first employee. And you know, in my case, I got lucky. One just sort of fell in my lap. I really don't have a whole lot of advice for how to find and hire great employees. I've been really blessed in that department. I found one good guy. He knew somebody else. He knew somebody else, and they've all turned out to be really great. But I went out and I found one guy to help me out during the days. I could leave him during lunch and I could go look at other jobs, and this freed up a little bit of my time, took a little bit of pressure off, but at the same time it also added a different layer of pressure because now I was responsible for someone else's income. So I had to make sure, once again, even for myself, that I had plenty of work. With that being said, we were pleasing our clients. We were making sure everybody was happy. People loved us, so we were getting plenty of work. And eventually, you know, a couple months down the road, I needed even more help. I was so busy running around trying to meet with people that it wasn't working for me to be on the job. So I ended up bringing on a second guy, and them two started doing the jobs while I was running around doing all the estimating and meeting clients, and I was helping them get all the materials and get them started and whatever, just running around. And this worked really well for a while. But then, you know, it got to the point where just two guys, one job at a time, was becoming really complicated. My backlog was getting really crazy. My scheduling was getting really crazy. I had people calling me and I couldn't get to them in time. Or I would say that I could get to them, trying to make them happy, and then end up dropping the ball and either forgetting about them or simply not being able to get to them because the job we were currently working on took a little bit longer than we thought it would. And this is something that you're really going to have to pay attention to because a job never goes according to plan. Whether the job is great or not, in the end, you will always run into something that is going to delay it 1, 2, 3 days, who knows? But there's always a delay. Something happens. Either you can't find the material you need, or you open up a wall and you find something else that needs to be fixed and you have a change order. Something happens, so you have to really, really pay attention to your scheduling. This is something that I really, really struggle with scheduling because of this. It was hard for me to estimate how long things really were going to take and when I was actually going to be able to get to somebody. So with that said, I ended up seeking out 2 more people so that I could have 2 teams. So I could do 2 jobs at a time. And this was cool, it was a great idea. The way I did it was I found a 3rd person and I went back to work. So we had a 2-man team and then myself and 1 guy, so we were able to tackle 2 jobs at one time. And this was cool. But the problem with it is I was the guy that was running around checking on my jobs. I was also the guy running around doing the estimates, so it was back to square one in a way. Because I was leaving the guy that was partnered with me alone, because I'd have to run and check on the other team. Or I'd have to go and do an estimate. And the guy that was partnered with me, he kind of got a bad end of the deal because he got left alone a lot. So that wasn't going to work for long, so I needed a 4th person. So that's how I ended up with a team of 4. Well, at this point, now I have a transportation issue. I've got to get more tools, and I've got to have some way for these guys to transport tools. Now, a good way around this, which is something I did not do, but I know other people have done it, is to hire people that have their own tools, and they can actually just use their own vehicle and transport their own equipment to a job to accomplish a job. The issue with that is that's going to be probably a much higher paid individual, and in my case, I hired people that had less experience but great work ethic, and I was able to teach them on the job, but I provided all their tools as well as the transportation back and forth to the job. So that's something that you can decide for yourself. I know several other companies where they hire people that have their own equipment and their own transportation, and it works out fine for them, but they are a little bit more established. In my case, it was easier for me to take good people and just teach them what I wanted them to know and provide their equipment. So a little along during all of this process, I'm buying equipment, another chop saw, another table saw, another whatever, and I was also on the hunt for work vans, because obviously my truck was in use driving me around, so my guys couldn't use that. So these are some of the things that we ran into in the first year and a half that were really pretty big hurdles to overcome. And it's just growing pains. You've got to do it. You've got to get to that point. You can't just start your business and then boom, you have 6, 7, 8 people running everything for you. You got to get in there and you got to grind it out somehow or another. And that transition, it's tough. It's not easy. There's nothing easy about it. But, as y'all saw in my first video, it is possible. I'm sitting here right now. It's 12 o'clock on a Monday, and we're sitting in our office making this video. I've got 2 teams out right now. Actually 3 teams out right now doing 3 different jobs. I went and checked on them all this morning, and now I'm back here doing other stuff, making calls, looking for houses, etc. So this is sort of how we broke into the transition of getting employees, building up our job backings, making sure our clients were happy and all of this. And we're gonna do another video that talks specifically about clients, because this is a big one. This is something that I had different struggles with. We were really, really diligent about keeping everybody happy, and we were very successful at that, but it came with its own level of issues. And we'll do a whole separate video just on clients coming up. But I wanted to talk to y'all about just getting your feet wet, grinding it out, and building up a place where you can actually start building a revenue stream and getting some guys and some help in your business. So I hope this video is helpful. If you like the content, please subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell so you can see our future videos. And thanks for watching, guys.